Welcome back to Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, got my line mate Matt here with me, and today we're going to be going over free agency for the Blackhawks and some of the things that we saw from around the league. So before we get started, give us a shot on follow us on Twitter, check us out on Facebook, Chicago Tomahawk, and check out the FHN net. That is the FHN to get all of your hockey news. We are an FHN podcast. And they have all of the other teams on there. Jump on there, get your hockey news, and it's great. We've got a new logo out, just released yesterday, and things are changing and moving, getting ready for next season. So to start off with, we got Seth Jones. Obviously, everybody knows about that already. Got Jake McCabe, hard-hitting defenseman, defensive defenseman, which is what we need. We're talking about David Savard a lot, and Jake McCabe essentially fills that role. Big surprise, we got Marc-Andre Fleury. I'm not sure for nothing. Essentially, I mean, if he plays, we take his cap hit. If he doesn't play, then we don't get penalized for his cap hit. But he's discussing it with his family right now on whether he's going to play or not. He was really blindsided by the fact that he was traded. He found out on Twitter actually that he got traded before he got notification from the team. But that being said, the who's the GM for Vegas? I forgot his name.
McPhee.
Yeah, he said that the trade call hadn't even gone through yet. It had leaked and went to Twitter, and he's like, I can't call a guy and tell him about a trade where the trade call hasn't been made yet, and that's understandable. Information just flies out at the speed of light, and the guy barely had a chance to give him a heads up. And we got Jujhar Khaira from Edmonton, who hits like a Mack truck. So I think that's a good thing. Some free agents that we lost were Zadorov to Calgary. They have not struck a deal yet, so we don't know what his deal is. It's going to be Hinostroza to Buffalo for $1 million, 1-year deal. Suter to Detroit on a 2-year deal at $3.2 million, and Kampf to Toronto. I believe that's a 2-year deal as well, at $1.5 million per. So the big thing here is Suter, and a lot of people are talking about, we should have kept Suter and not signed. Oh, and we traded for Tyler Johnson. I can't believe I forgot that. We traded for Tyler Johnson, which is, I think personally, it's huge because he's got experience. He's a former 30-goal scorer. He could play both ends of the ice, but I think that he's got a lot of upside to him, and he's got speed. Obviously, we let Pius Suter go, which was kind of painful, but in the long run, I think that maybe the Hawks thought that he was asking for too much money, and they figured Tyler Johnson would fit the bill better, even though it's $1.8 million more. I think he's a little bit more proven than Suter, though that he is older. Out of all of the signings so far in the trades, Matt, who would you say is you like the most, or what's caught your eye?
Well, if Fleury plays, I'm going to be really surprised about that move. But I was a huge fan of the Johnson trade. That was virtually for nothing, too. Actually, we got another pick out of that, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I think we got a third rounder.
Second rounder or something?
Third or second rounder.
But, I mean, I remember when we first started doing our podcasts.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the Zadorov trade for this. Actually, because we gave him a qualifying offer, we were able to trade him to Calgary, and in return, instead of letting him walk for nothing, we got a third round pick out of that, which I think is really good.
Yeah.
And for Johnson, we got a second round pick.
Well, like what I was getting to, remember when they put him on waivers?
Right.
Tampa? How like we were like, dude, we got to jump on this. Yeah. We got the cap space. We got injuries. We need him.
Yeah, we did.
And no one claimed him.
Right.
30 freaking 1 teams did not claim him. And I think by Tampa doing that, I guess his cap hit was different. So, I mean, I'm glad we got him now. And for a retired player that will never play again, it's a huge deal for us at $5 million a year.
Right.
two-time Stanley Cup champion, top six forward. He played bottom six there, I think, because
He's a team
I mean,
player.
look at the team. It was an all-star team if you think about it, but
Really?
I think he will fit in great with even anybody on the top six. Kaner, you put him with Kaner, you put him with DeBrincat, I think he'll fit right in.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Gaudette signed a 1-year deal, a 1-year prove-it deal. I believe that was for $970,000. And I think that's pretty much for the signings for right now. I actually on Twitter yesterday I released my picks that I thought that the lines what they would look like. Let me pull it up really quick and I'll let you guys.
Cool.
So here's my projective lineup for the offense. Offense, we've got Kubalik at left wing, Taves, Kurashev at right wing. I want Kurashev at right wing because I think that he can shoot and he can pass, which gives him a really good options for Taves, whether he wants to dish it to Kurashev or Kubalik. And obviously Kubalik is there to shoot. We've got DeBrincat and Johnson and Kane on the second line. It was mentioned on Twitter that there's a lot of small guys on that line. I think that it could still work. This was mentioned by Drew Matthews at Wolverine G18. I think that it would work because DeBrincat, Johnson, and Kane are fast and they're so dynamic that I think that being on a second line role that they could still score no matter who you throw at them. And I've got Hagel, Doc, and Nylander on the third line. Doc I think has proven he could pretty much play with anybody. And I think that he has pretty much, he has chemistry with pretty much anybody. So I think that he would work well on that line. That will give Nylander an opportunity to show off some of his offensive skills and give Doc an opportunity to grow into that second line center role. So that, he could take some of his time and not be just thrown into it kind of like he was last year, which is a big reason actually why I want Johnson on the second line because he can win faceoffs and that's big. The possession game is big for that second line because of Kane and DeBrincat. And for the fourth line, I've got Gaudette at left wing, Carpenter at center, and Kyra at right wing. I got to get this guy's name right.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. Actually, I think Carpenter might play left wing and Gaudette play center. So that's who I've got. That's going to be the defense burn checking line. For the defense, I've got McCabe and Jones on the top line. I've got Kalynuk and Murphy on the second defensive pairing, and I've got Mitchell/Bowden paired with Stillman on that last line. I believe that DeHaan is going to be traded for cap relief. And to be honest with you, man, he's a good player. I just don't see him on the team anymore. And for goaltending, obviously, we've got Lankinen or Fleury, 1A, 1B. Mm-hmm. And that's where I've got the lines at. And I think that this could be a really good team with this line. Is this a team that's going to win the Stanley Cup? I don't know, probably not. But this is a team that could be competitive, much better than the team that we had last year. And
oh yeah, defense is way better.
Well, defense is way better. And to be honest with you, we were playing some really, really good teams, and we had a really, really bad defense. I'm curious to see how the team would have been if they didn't have such a bad defense, But anyways, that's what I got, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that a couple players on our roster aren't on your list, like obviously Dylan Strome.
I didn't even mention him.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at your tweet right now.
With Drew Matthews?
So think about this. If we traded DeHaan and we traded Strome, that's another $7 million in cap relief. So, I mean, even if we traded them for like a minor league defenseman or a minor league forward, and we sent them to Rockford, I think that would be, pretty good trade actually, just for the cap relief, because we know we're not going to get much out of Strome unless they want him playing winger. Do you think maybe they'll put him on the top line with Taves and Kubalik? But
I hope not, because he can't play wing very well.
he can't play center that well either.
Right, I
So
know. That's why
I just don't.
I mentioned earlier. I mentioned on Twitter that where would I put Strome because I left him off of
Yeah.
the list. I said I'd have him in section 303 selling hot dogs because that's really the only thing I could think to get some use out of him. To be honest with you,
He'd probably still mess that up, but I would. I do like your second line. I do like DeBrincat, Johnson, and Kane. I know what do we call it? The 6 and under line, the 6 foot and under
yeah.
line. I mean,
more like
but
5'10" and under.
I mean, that's great. You know, DeBrincat's a shooter. Kane's a passer. Johnson could score and pass.
Yeah, actually, Kaner's got a really great backhand, so he can shoot too.
He does. He just got to use it more. I just feel like he's just so he loves that pass and loves watching his teammates bury one-timers.
He's good at it.
I do like your lines. I like our defense too. And Jones making $5 million this year is huge. I mean, McCabe is making $4 million, so he's only making $1 million more, even than Connor Murphy too. And I mean, I'm still hearing all these negative things about Jones's salary. I mean, why do we care so much about what he's making? We got a really good player. It's not hurting us. We still have cap space.
Right.
And like we said before, Kane and Taves, they're not going to be making that 10.5 forever. No. Jones will be the face here, and he will probably be the highest paid player until DeBrincat needs a raise.
Yeah. How much do you think he's going to make? 10?
I could see 9. I mean, maybe he's putting up some pretty damn good numbers, and you got to pay the kid because he's going to be the face of the offense.
Yeah, it's kind of like you want to hope that he doesn't hit that 50 mark,
I think he can.
I think he can too.
I think I really do. And I mean, people talked about Taves hitting that, 50 goal mark. I don't even think he's hit 40 yet.
No.
I know he's been to 35, but that's just not his game.
Yeah, it's not.
And I don't even think Kaner's hit 50. I think his best was 40, 42, 40, maybe 45. I don't know, but
yeah.
Our last 50 goal scorer, JR.
Jeremy Roenick.
Back to back.
If you're listening, JR, we love you, man.
Yeah, we missed that guy. He's like gone.
Yeah.
They shunned him.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yep.
So some surprises that I thought were Foligno to Boston. I didn't see that coming. I know that he wasn't going to stay in Toronto, but I didn't think that he'd be going to Boston. Saad to the Blues. I didn't see that one coming.
That hurt your feelings.
It did, man. It burned me a little bit. Grubauer to Seattle. Now I know that the writing was on the wall with the
Landeskog,
with the Landeskog signing, but I did not see Grubauer going to Seattle. And
for that much money.
And Daniel to the Kings. I thought that he would have stayed in Montreal.
I heard Vegas really wanted Philip Deneau too.
Yeah.
And I heard they traded Fleury to get Deneau, and it didn't work out. Yeah, I heard a lot of rumors on that one too.
I thought they were going for Eichel.
He's their backup plan, but how can you pay that team? They sign these guys long term, and then what? They just trade them 2 years after,
right?
I mean, they've been doing that a lot lately.
Yeah,
but back to Seattle for a minute.
Actually, hold on, I got to mention Brooklyn Joyner from the FHN. Nick, he mentioned that he thought that they were trading Fleury so that they could sign Alec Martinez to make some room for it, and I thought that was I think that he had a. Really
I actually heard he did. That's a good point too. But I actually heard they wanted Philip Deneau too. And I heard that on NHL morning radio. That I think Nick Alberga, I think his name is, but he was hearing rumors about that, and that would have been scary. That'd be a very good team if they got a shutdown center like him. Because they're in desperate need for centers of Vegas. That's their weakness. Even everyone said down the middle they were really, really weak. But their goaltending was good, and I guess they're going with Leonard now. Good for him. He's finally getting his chance. He's been on teams where he's been with Crawford. He's played with good goalies now. He's the only guy now. That's a true number one. I don't did they sign a backup? Vegas? Do you know?
They did, but I forgot who it was.
Yeah, it can't be that big then. So, but
Yeah.
hey, how do you think Drieger feels from Seattle?
Yeah,
It's
no
like, hey,
kidding.
3-year deal or 4-year deal. We want you to be the guy. Oh, Philip Grubauer just signed. It's like,
Yeah.
I kind of be a little like, I mean, I'm getting paid still, which is, I'm getting paid $3 million to play hockey. But then you sign a better guy. It's like, shoot, what am I gonna do?
I think that they might
So,
split time, man, and I think that's the way that the NHL is kind of going with things going forward.
yeah, the duos.
Yeah,
But
and it makes a lot of sense, to be honest with you. I mean, there's no reason to. I mean, I know that there are guys out there that want to chew up those minutes and chew up those games and play every day, but I just think that it makes a lot of sense to have two guys that do it.
well, it does. Look at our cup-winning teams. We had Hue and Niemi. We had Ray Emery, the best backup goalie we've ever had,
Yeah,
with Crawford, and then Crawford and Darling, and there were some good goalies. But
those are good tandems, except for the Hue. It was that was
yeah,
brutal.
that was a weird signing. That was like out of nowhere too. Like, why the hell did we sign Hue? We have Hobby Bullen,
Right.
But Grubauer is good. I mean, he was a Vezina candidate. I called it. I think he gets hurt. They overwork him,
Yeah.
and he kind of disappears at the wrong times, or he's hurt at the wrong times, and then the team kind of struggles. And maybe Sakic said, "Hey, maybe we got to let him go and go with the cheaper route." And they got Darcy Kemper today through a trade. So we'll see how he does. But he's been kind of rotting away in the desert. I thought. I mean, he does have a better team in front of him, so maybe he'll be fine. Just go out there and, he's not going to be flashy. Just do your job, like kind of like a Brian Elliott back in the day, like with the Blues, he never got his like respect as a starting goalie, but hey, maybe this guy will lead him to the cup finally and get McKinnon his trophy for once. He's been 10 years with nothing.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm sure he's hungry.
Yeah, he is. Nedeljkovic was another surprise for me. Nedeljkovic to was it Detroit? Yeah,
Yeah.
to the Red Wings.
Did you hear that they traded him because they couldn't agree on $500,000?
Really?
That's the rumor I heard, and that's why Don Waddell let him go.
Wow.
And Yzerman, that guy is a great GM. I mean, if it doesn't work out in Detroit, let's get the guy, because this guy can build a team from the ground up. Look at Tampa. I don't care what anyone says, that's his team.
Yeah, it was.
But this was a great move for Detroit. They've needed a goalie for a while. I mean, Jimmy Howard was their goalie for years. He's old and never really worked out. The best goalie, I think, their last best goalie. Who do you think? Osgood? It's been a while. Detroit builds their team. They're not big goalie fans.
Yeah,
I feel like
Osgood and he had a tandem with Hasek, didn't he?
Yeah. And then Curtis Joseph the one year, wasn't
Cujo,
there like
yeah.
3 of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go top heavy. They don't rely on the goaltending, but I mean now you have to, because that's, I think, been their big weakness for the last decade, I think.
Right.
Probably.
Hawks are clearly going. They're clearly going bigger, and they're definitely shaping up a team to put behind Kane and Taves for the foreseeable future, to kind of play out their last 4 to 5 seasons that I see them really playing in the league. I think that 5 years max is it, and I think that they're building this team to let's take one last run, and that's what it should be. A lot of people are throwing their arms up in the air saying, "Oh, what about the rebuild?" We don't have time for a rebuild. I mean, we had it, to be honest with you, I think that was just that was just for the fans to say, "Hey, this is what we're doing. We're doing a rebuild," just so everybody isn't lighting torches, And
it's not a rebuild what they did at all.
No, not when you have 2 generational players like Taves and Kane. They just needed to buy themselves some time, and they did a good job doing it. But they've put some pieces in place. I think they have an opportunity to really make a push, and we'll see what happens come trade deadline time. And hopefully the young kids step up.
I think they're a contender for the wild card spot. I'm not saying Stanley Cup, but I think they could. I think they can make a push for the playoffs. I do. I think if this is a big if, Fleury, if he plays, that's a goalie that can win you a game when you're having an off night. He did it for Vegas in the playoffs multiple times, and he still got shat on by his coach.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it's insane how he was treated there. I mean, he obviously loved everybody there, and they loved him. And I feel like just the coach did not want him to be the goalie, and he kind of ran him out of town. And I hope he plays just to kind of stick it to Vegas, because we play them 4 times a season.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that if he swept them 4 times just to kind of stick it to his former team?
Yeah.
That alone would motivate me. Like, oh, I'm in the West. I'm going to play these guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope he plays. I really do. I love him. I'm a big fan of him.
I'm going to make a prediction right now that I'm going to make 2 predictions. Okay. I think the Hawks will make the playoffs at a minimum. And to be honest with you, I think that they'll make it to the second round. All right. That's one of my predictions.
If they make it.
Now,
okay.
Now there's 2 things that's predicated on. If Colleton can put a good defensive scheme together, I think that it could happen. If the Hawks aren't winning by, say, Christmas, Colleton's gone and Mark Crawford is going to step in as the interim head coach. And I think that the Hawks will make it to the second round of the playoffs, minimum.
Mark Crawford. Wow.
This is just a prediction
okay.
of mine.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I
Mark
know
Crawford,
that my predictions are pretty off the wall and out there sometimes. I know. But you know what? A lot of times I'm right.
Okay.
And I think I'm right on this one.
I don't think you're right about Mark Crawford. I think
no, but I think that he's just going to step in.
No, I think Bowman's going to have somebody in mind, like I hate to say it, like a Bruce Boudreau or somebody. I would prefer a defensive coach. You know who I would say. But
Torts.
I don't want to upset our snowflake listeners that don't like old school coaches that yell at players. But
who's that?
Oh, please. The new generation of hockey fans. Oh, Tortorella yelled at me. Like, come on, dude. Suck it up. But I think if Torts comes here, our defense is going to be better, but our offense might decline.
Will suffer.
Yeah. But
and that's that's a problem because we need it.
It is. And I'm the first one to admit our offense will go down, but we will win more games, I think. So it's, what do you want? You want to win games, make the playoffs, or do you want Kane to score 50? Or you know what I mean?
Right.
It kind of happened with Ovechkin one season. I think they signed that Dale Hunter to be the coach.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he turned that team around. Like they learned how to play defense, and Ovechkin got 30 goals and he cried. He's like, I wanted 50. Yeah. And well, dude, you made it. You made it to the playoffs, and I think you actually won a round.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just the thing. I mean, Bruce Boudreau, he's an offensive-minded coach. I'm not sure about his defense, but I don't think Mark Crawford. I like your prediction, though, here. I think if the Hawks are bad, they do need to get a new coach fast.
Yeah.
But I do like that. But what's your prediction for Fleury? What do you think?
If
going to play or retire?
Well, okay. I'll say that he's going to play. I think he's going to surprise everybody. He's going to play.
I just got this feeling like you know what? I really appreciate the Blackhawks. I really appreciate the Blackhawks wanting me, but you know what? My heart's not here.
I think he's going to say, you know what? I've been in Pittsburgh, for a long time. And then I went to Vegas for a long time. And you know what? I was never able to play for Matt. And this season I'm going to do it. I'm going to play for...
I listened to the TomaHawk, and this Matt guy,
and I'm going to listen
defended
to
me
Matt
against
Ryback,
Mike.
And I'm gonna play. I'm not doing it for Mike though, because he's an asshole.
Mike said I wasn't a Hall of Famer, but I am a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and I'll say, you know what, man? I'm gonna challenge you. You'll be a Hall of Famer in my eyes if you bring another cup to Chicago. He'll definitely be a Hall of Famer then.
I'm gonna make you buy his jersey.
Yeah, I might have to.
29 Chicago Blackhawks, marc-andre Fleury.
I might have to do that because If the Hawks were to win the Stanley Cup, especially with Marc-Andre Fleury behind the net, considering the woes, well, I mean, we'll be honest, the woes that he's had in the playoffs the past few years, and it would be huge. It would be huge.
I'm telling you, man. He had maybe one bad game per series, I think, but he had more good games.
Sure,
and
but you can't have any bad games, man.
True.
Not in the playoffs, and that's the problem.
Perfect example, Corey Crawford, 2012. Yeah. He had, against the Coyotes, 4 bad games, and we lost.
Right.
And he was terrible. Some of the goals that were scored, the puck didn't even leave the ice. And I'm like, what is this, curling? Really, dude? How did that get through? It was brutal.
With the brush, with the broom?
Yeah, somebody just brushed a puck. I'm like, dude, the puck's on the ice. You cannot give up a goal like that.
Yeah.
And Crawford was bad, but hey, he bounced back. And I think I credit Ray Emery getting him back in 2013.
Definitely.
I mean, wow, I'm going to lose my job if I don't start playing.
Yeah.
And freaking what? The guy went 20-1, I think.
Ray Emery was a freaking animal, man.
I miss that guy. Rest in peace, man.
Yeah,
he was a freaking great goalie.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I might have a custom Blackhawks jersey made with his name on it because I was just
put Razor
on it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Man. Yeah, he was a good goalie.
He was a tough guy too, man. Didn't he fight 1 year with us?
Yeah,
I think he got into a fight.
Actually, I remember. Did we play the Blues the first round? I can't remember.
No, I think we played the Wild in the first round.
Okay, you might be right, but maybe it was during the season. I just remember the Blues skating by the Hawks bench, yapping away, and Ray Emery's the only one barking back. And I'm like, wow, your backup goalie's got to defend his team like that. Like, we had guys that just didn't fight and want anything to do with that stuff. But Ray Emery's up on, he's got his baseball hat on, and he's like, what are you going to do? He's yelling. Yeah. And I'm like, get that guy in the ice, man. He'll freaking waste you. Yeah. I think he fought when he was in the Stanley Cup final when he was with the Senators. What was that, 2008? He fought like some of the Ducks. I'm like, dude, this guy's a beast. It's insane. But and then of course he goes to Philly.
Yeah.
And you got to be tough if you're going to play for the Flyers. It's like it's like in your contract you have to at least fight once.
Yeah.
or you're not a Broad Street.
You're
bully.
Not a Broad Street bully.
Yeah.
It's like don't even sign me, dude. I'm not here for this.
I know, but those guys are tough,
shenanigans. Man. Yeah, they are. They are.
I know a lot of the Hawks wanted nothing to do with that. I know Ben Eager and Burrish, they loved it. They lived for it. Yeah. Stuff like that. But the rest of them were just like, I'm done. Stop pulling my hair. Like Keith was like, dude, I want to win the Norris Trophy. Please stop. Stuff like that. But it's cool. He was a good player, man. Good talking about him. He was great player, great goalie.
What else you got, man?
Actually, surprise signing today, a guy that's been in the Stanley Cup final the last 2 years. Hasn't won.
Oh.
No.
I'll take that back then.
But you're right. But Maroon won. He's got 3 in a row.
Right.
St. Louis, Tampa. This guy signed with the Champs today. Corey Perry. Yeah. And
pulled the Hossa.
It might be a good good luck charm for the Lightning. Hey, this guy's been in the final. Maybe they can get him a win now on the third try, Yeah. But I like his game,
with the Ducks.
Oh yeah, that's true. He did. But I mean, he played with Dallas. They lost to Tampa the first time, and then he obviously with the Canadians this year he lost Tampa again. So he's like, you know what? I can't beat these guys. I'm just going to join them.
Yeah. So, maybe it's going to be another Chicago Blackhawks Tampa final. And we all know how it worked out the first time.
Man. I think it would be a lot different, my friend.
But we'll see. You know how I am, dude. The Tampa was pretty dangerous when the Hawks played it, man. They were really dangerous.
Victor Hedman scared the shit out of me.
I mean, Ben Bishop was playing phenomenal. Vasilevsky was just dying to get in. He got
shut out.
He played really, really well. I mean, they were a really tough team then. Kudos to them for being able to keep that team and build off of it. and come and build this juggernaut, a few years down the road.
Great coach, Cooper. Players love him. They want to play with him.
Good GM.
And I think we need to find Yzerman's with Detroit.
I mean, at the time.
Yeah. Well, he left. I think Yzerman would have been the GM there still, no doubt about it.
Right.
I think Breeze, I forget his name, but that GM, man, he was really emotional. After the Stanley Cup, he was crying for these guys. He's like, I got guys that are playing with rods in their legs, and Kucherov's playing with broken ribs, and he goes, these guys, they deserved it, man. They were just working hard this year, and I mean that's what you like, it's like a big family, and I think the Hawks got to get back to that where there's respect from the front office, the ownership, and we, like we said, we still got this thing going on, and it's weird. It's really weird, and but we'll get there hopefully again.
Well, guys, that's what we got for you tonight. Do us a favor, follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Hit subscribe. We'd really, really appreciate it so you don't miss out on any future podcast. But that's all that we got for you tonight. This is the TomaHawk, and we're out of here.